Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 1 Episode 5. I am so excited for this one. I actually love the hidden messages and I said it so many times. I love that they're actually tackling the trauma and the real deep emotions of every single character, no matter how small that character is in the storyline. Because every single human being has like this dark past or that trauma that they're fighting with personally, because every single human being has a problem. So it's completely normal if someone has been negatively affected by what the Fire Nation is doing. So the guard literally, he shouldn't have hit Iroh because, like I said, like if there's anything I can't stand, it's the disrespect to Iroh because he is such a cutie. But Iroh back in the day was the villain in this man's story. And because we all love Iroh, we don't really try to see it from that guard's point of view. He suffered a lot because of Iroh and what he did before his son died. Like, he did those bad deeds for the Fire Nation. And no matter how good he's behaving now, it won't change of the harm he has caused to many people in the Earth Kingdom. He was the villain in their story. Of course, us as the viewers seeing how Iroh is now and how the loss of his only son changed him for the better. Like I said, normally you should change for the better. When you are dealing with psychological pain, people that actually have been negatively affected by what Iroh was doing for the Fire Nation, they don't really care if he has changed. Because he was like, you are still part of my demons. You were the cause of my pain. You were the cause of my grief. So they don't care if he really changed. Us loving Iroh is like, in a certain sense, putting a bias to everyone harming Iroh. But Iroh was still, back in the day, doing horrible stuff. And it was to benefit the Fire Nation. And that was also causing grief for many people in the Earth Kingdom. Iroh was the villain in this man's story, in that guard's story. So that he has resentment for Iroh, it's completely normal. But just like I have suffered a lot, I can only say it again and again. Keeping resentment inside of you is only gonna cause you even more grief and even more pain, because it's like you are holding on to the negativity that horrible moment in your life has caused you. You will never be capable to move on. You being capable to actually move past that problem also means that you have to let go of that trauma. And that also means letting go of the resentment, and he hasn't done that. So he will have to deal with that psychological pain for a while if he can't let go. Like, Iroh is not really doing much for the Fire Nation anymore, but considering the fact that Iroh still makes part of the Fire Nation is literally like, let's just say, a point where people immediately hate on him because they're like, the Fire Nation is taking everything from us. And considering the fact that you are part of the Fire Nation, you're also like them. This is like that negative view, sadly. Like when you are looking at someone with a different skin color and you, as someone that doesn't have the skin color, you admire them for their beauty and you like tell them up front that you like them, and they themselves had a horrible encounter with people actually skin shaming them, they feel offended by you actually talking about their skin color. But there are people that have white skin that actually admire the beauty of darker skin. And that's something I also want to add before I'm going to the reaction. That's something I couldn't understand. Like, there are many white people that are shaming people with black skin color, yet they themselves go to the beach or to the solarium to get darker skin. That's something I don't understand. You are a hypocrite if you're doing that, because you are shaming on someone that has that darker skin color by nature, yet you don't want to keep your bright skin color. You go into the solarium or you go on the beach and you try to get your skin to become darker. Why are you shaming on them if you want to have darker skin color yourself? These are like those problems in society that I can understand, but no matter, not me swifting to something completely different. We're here for Avatar. I just love that they are giving every single character a backstory. No matter how small that character is, they all give them a specific background, just like every single human being has. Like, there can be a human being in your life for, like, I don't know, a year, but they themselves are like the main character in their life. Like, they may be only a side character in my life, but they are the main character in their own life. So, like, they have a backstory. They have a life themselves. They all had to suffer their own way. So in the cartoons, they only show like the surface, and they don't even try to show that people actually have a background themselves. They didn't dig deep into what the Fire Nation did to them personally. They only showed what the negative impact of the Fire Nation did to them, as in the superficial stuff. But anyway, let me watch what this episode has in store for us. I never know what to expect with this show. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. For the full uncut reaction, you can check out my Patreon. The link is in my description box below. And without further ado... Weren't they just in Omashu?
Maybe more!
Weren't they just in Omashu? How did they get here? They said, yes, Sokka. She said, I'm giving you a plate.
Let's go! Your bending has gotten really sharp. I mean,
yeah.
Inventing new moves. That's the mark of a skilled bender. I have been feeling pretty confident, but
What's wrong? Oh.
How many more forced have died because I wasn't here? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
And out of death comes new life. Seeds for the future.
Cuties. They finally had their moment.
Maybe we can come up with one for her. How about
He's so
Pippin
cute.
Paddleopsicopolis?
Bye. Bye.
I can get them back.
Okay, show me what you got.
So someone saw ice in a place where no ice should exist? Most people would call that unusual, wouldn't they, Lieutenant G? Unless they were an idiot.
Oh my god, sir. Control your manners.
Zhao didn't discover the Avatar, Zuko did. He's the one who displayed resilience and dedication. That's what I expect from a future heir. Not self-serving flattery and coy whispers.
Y'all, this is literally what I talked about in episode 3, I think. Azula wants to have that spot, and her father keeps on reminding her that Zuko has that spot in his heart. She thinks that the only thing she can get out of life and that the only thing she wants to achieve in life is the throne. And the father is like, Zhao didn't discover the Avatar. Zuko did. He was this, and that's what I expect from a future king. As in, you didn't show me those personality traits. You didn't show me that resilience. You didn't show me what I expect a future king to be, or a future queen to be. You don't have the qualities I'm looking for. Your brother does. This is literally just her being thrown again into reality. That she will never be capable to have the place in her father's heart. She wants to have Zuko's spot in her father's heart. Like, she wants to be viewed the same way Fire Lord Ozai views Zuko. And the thing that I thought very interesting was, I'm 1000% sure that he saw that Azula was hurt by what he said. When she walked out, he smirked. So maybe this is like his strategy. Maybe he knows the eternal struggle that Azula is going through, which would actually match the character in the cartoon that he was always capable to like figure things out. He just felt it. I don't know how he did it, but he was in a certain sense always a step ahead. Maybe he knows the struggles from Azula, and that she is that jealous of Zuko because he's like the rightful heir to the throne and not her. And Fire Lord Ozai is using that knowledge to his advantage. He is using the jealousy that she has for Zuko and the fact that she's projecting her insecurities onto Zuko, and he hopes that she will work even more, as in her trying to become even more perfect than she already is. Maybe this is like his strategy. He wants her to think that he loves Zuko more than her, because he knows that that will only trigger her desire to want to become even better, in hope that sooner or later her father will view her as better, as more worthy than Zuko. That's interesting. That's an interesting aspect.
And how will we know that this works?
I'm not sure.
I'm getting hungry.
Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to concentrate here.
Sorry, ma'am. This literally gave off Aang from the cartoon. Love this.
Sokka, I think it worked.
Can they see him? How did he take them with him? What's going on with you? Damn! What the hell? Oh my god. Yes! Oh well.
I'll let it pass because your dad's kind of cute.
Your dad? I'm sorry, but I need to put this out there. Every single episode shows more and more that Zuko becomes unhinged. Because, like I said in the last episode, when I'm that much in pain, the pain becomes more and more as time passes by. Because time doesn't stop, time continues. So every single day where I have to absorb negativity, it puts itself on top of the unbearable pain I'm already in, because of the fact that I haven't found a way to get rid of that psychological pain. It's still there. So the psychological pain is that insanely powerful already that it's making me lose control. But as the time goes by and the negativity keeps on growing more and more from the outside world every single day, which I have to absorb in the end, just puts itself on top of the psychological pain that I already have. So it makes me lash out even more, as in the explosion becomes even more destructive. Zuko's rage becomes destructive. He becomes unhinged himself. This in general brings in an interesting aspect. His father told him that he can't go back home until he has the Avatar, and he brings him back. Now, the point here I want to make, he immediately assumes that every single human being in that universe wants to hunt the Avatar and bring him to his father. In a certain sense, I can understand, because considering the fact that the Fire Nation has enslaved the Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdom, it would only make sense that people that are tired of living under a tyrant, they would use the Avatar in order to buy themselves free of this man's reign. So it would make sense that Zuko thinks like that, but the point here is, a lot of people, they don't want to use the Avatar in order to buy themselves free. They want the Avatar to master the elements in order so that he can defeat the Fire Nation and bring balance back to the world, because that's what the Avatar is supposed to do. Like, mostly in this universe, they show people that truly care about others, not only about themselves. So they don't want to only make life better for themselves, but also for the people around them, for the people that they care about. Of course, just like in the real world, there are people that will only care about themselves, and they would actually use Aang in order to buy themselves free of the tyranny of Fire Lord Ozai. But most of the Earth Kingdom and the Water Tribe want Aang to learn the elements as soon as possible in order for him to put an end to the Fire Nation. They want the Fire Nation to be out of their realm, and they finally want to live freely again. They don't want to be oppressed anymore by the Fire Nation, and they know that the Avatar could put an end to the tyranny of the Fire Nation. And Zuko over here immediately assumes that every single human being that knows about the Avatar's existence is gonna try to hunt him down. And he's like, great, now more people know that he's alive. Great, so they're gonna try to hunt him down too. Great, now I will lose even more. Because this is actually this man's problem. I did say it in the last episode, he's obsessing over his problems. He's obsessing over them until he becomes unhinged. Because he wants to have the solution now. He wants to have the solution now because this is literally mental stress, psychological pain for him to know that in order to have his life back, as in the respect of the Fire Nation and the respect of his father, or the love of his father, lies in catching the Avatar. So, hearing the word Avatar in general makes this man become unhinged. He immediately assumes that everyone is gonna hunt this man down as soon as someone hears that the Avatar is alive, and that means less chance for him to catch him, and in order to regain the place he lost when his father defeated him in that Agni Kai and told him that he had to leave, and he can't come back to the Fire Nation until he captures the Avatar. So just hearing that someone knows about the Avatar's existence makes this man completely lose control. This is literally like him seeing red. The second he hears Avatar, he's like, great, now I can lose everything. Again, because this is literally everything this man has been saying the entire time. As soon as someone mentions Aang, he immediately assumes that that person is going to try to hunt him down. And that means that he will lose the opportunity to capture Aang himself and bring him to his father. So that means he will have to live in this agony forever, because sadly, he still hasn't figured out that this isn't who he wants to be. He has the feeling that being in the castle, being with his father and his sister, having the love of his family and the respect of his nation is what he wants, but that's not what he wants at all. He just wants to be accepted. He wants to be appreciated for the hard work he does. He thinks that those specific emotions are what make him weak, because we know Fire Lord Ozai doesn't care about humanity. He wants his children to be merciless. And the fact that Zuko is that conflicted in concentrating 1000% on hunting the Avatar and bringing him to his father shows that he will never be capable to do what Ozai wants him to do. He wants him to even leave bodies if necessary. That means not caring about anyone. And Zuko is someone he cares. He truly cares about people. Him doing what his father wants him to do, or how his father wants him to behave, would have been letting Iroh die when that Earthbender threw a knife at him, and zooming to capture Aang when he saw him literally on Appa in the last episode. That would have been what his father would have expected, as in not caring if someone is dying. You don't care about anyone, you only care about your ambitions. You don't care about people. You should know that there are necessary evils. Your uncle would have been a necessary evil. You only care about your ambition, you don't care about people. You just do what you want to do, because that's what the Fire Nation does. We don't care if someone is living a horrible life after that. As in, he wants Zuko to get rid of his humanity. And considering the fact that Zuko is that pure-hearted, he will never be capable to achieve that. That's literally what Ozai wants. Considering the fact that he said, you will only come back if you capture the Avatar. That's the only way that you can come back. Which, sending Zuko away, making this man shrink down his heart that much that sooner or later he will literally become obsessed with catching the Avatar. And that's technically what he wants from his future heir. Him only caring about the Avatar because he's the only one that could put an end to the plan of them wanting to control the world. I mean, in the cartoon, he also expected Zuko to fight his father. That's what he wants. Zuko didn't fight back because he respected him and he loves him. So he didn't want to fight him, and he wanted to show respect by literally begging for forgiveness. He was expecting the father to show him mercy, as in love. And these are the emotions that Ozai can't stand because he himself doesn't really have humanity left. And that's the thing that bothers him about Zuko. Because I think he has the feeling that if Zuko would turn off his humanity, he would be capable to be a good leader. Because that's actually what Ozai did. Cutting off his humanity, not caring about if someone would be suffering in the end because of a decision that he made in order to make the Fire Nation become even more big. Why would he care if someone has it worse? He has it better because he was capable to conquer another land. As in, he is a dictator, and he expects Zuko to become a dictator as well. And that's the problem in general with this exact thing. He thinks that sending this man outside will stir this man's emotions that much, make him feel so much resentment, so much hatred, so much rage, that he will automatically forget who he is. And that's not what's gonna happen, because that will be just psychological pain. But having a good support system next to you that gives you moral advice, that is capable to have like control over your emotions, someone that is literally capable to calm you down, will be the reason that you will heal from that psychological pain, and that will make you do what exactly, ladies and gentlemen? Move on. You will stop caring about what that person asked of you. You will start caring about what makes you feel good. And what makes Zuko feel good is being with his uncle. Like, just being respected in general. Like, every single human being wants to be respected. But what he wants is just being appreciated and loved for who he is. And that's something that he will never get from his father, and it will take time for him to actually accept that, sadly, his father doesn't give a damn about him, even though it's like kind of a contradiction of the scenes that we saw behind the scene at the Fire Nation Palace with Fire Lord Ozai and Azula. It literally seems from one side that he actually respects Zuko more than Azula, and from the other side it seems that he's just playing that he cares more about Zuko because he wants Azula to become even more merciless, because maybe he has the feeling that Azula will be capable to shut off her emotions. Considering the fact that Zuko wasn't capable to do that, he sent him away, and now he's trying to follow Azula's process in front of him. The fact that he hasn't sent Azula away was maybe because he thought that she actually is capable to pull through with what he wants, and what he wants is her to shut off her emotions. It would make sense. I mean, he is a very nice strategic. We saw it in the show, and it seems...
None of you belong in here.
Who said that?
Sorry, ma'am.
No human belongs in this realm.
That is one big birdie.
Birdie, I am no birdie.
Oh my God, not him!
Of knowledge itself. They do not hear what you hear. Their small minds are incapable of comprehending my speech.
Damn!
You are the Avatar. You were meant to have one foot in this world.
Birdie's not gonna eat us, is it?
That should be the least of his worries. There are creatures in here that will do far more than devour your body. They'll eat your soul.
All we want is to find...
Follow the path and you will find him.
Wait.
I'm terrified by this
What do you
man
mean
from
about
season
this?
2.
Oh, did you see that?
See what? Stop
What
it.
the hell? I need to pause here because I'm still stuck on that scene. What the hell did that owl mean when he said that there are things in here that dangerous that they're not prepared for or not ready to face? What is that even supposed to mean in general? Like, it's normal for the Avatar to go into the spirit world and then back to the physical world. Like, it's normal for him because he literally is the bridge between both worlds. Sadly, I think it's bad if I make this comparison, but in a certain sense it is true. If someone is in a coma, he has one foot in life and one in the grave. You don't know what happens when you're in a coma. You're in the state between life and death. Aang, being the Avatar, he has a foot, and I'm using this metaphor, and I connected with Aang over here. He literally has a foot in the physical world and a foot in the spirit world. He literally can swift between both places. It's not normal for humans to be in the spirit world. Because if I remember correctly, they start to, they start to lose themselves the longer they stay in the spirit world. Because a mere human, is not supposed to be separated from his body. Like, it could be possible that their souls will grow weaker and weaker the more they are away from their body. And it could be possible that if their soul is that weakened by being in a place that isn't good for them, that it becomes that weak that they die in the spirit world. And if their soul is dead, they themselves are dead too. I don't know. They love to use the 24 or 48 hours phrase in fantasy movies or series like this. Like, in 24 hours, if they're not united with their bodies, they're dead. Like, if you get what I mean. For Aang, it's normal to cross over to the spirit world. He is the bridge. But Sokka and Katara have no reason to be in the spirit world. It could actually become very, very dangerous for them if they stay in the spirit world for too long. I'm worried for them.
Aang, please tell me that's some spirit language only you can understand, and it's saying, "Welcome, friends. Would you like some cake?"
That's not what it's saying.
I didn't mean me.
Sir. Oh my god, what is going on?
It's not a monster. It's hurt. That's what pain does to you. It changes you into something that you're not.
Why you choose the negative form?
Well, these
I
scratches are
talked
making
about
pretty irritable.
this. I'm in pain, y'all. I am in so much pain. But I started to understand what this nice birdie wanted to say. Maybe. I mean, that's just like a thought of mine. There are a lot of spirits in the spirit world. Duh. But does the fog also count as a spirit? Because normally, if they can't even bend nor nothing, then fog has nothing to do there. I mean, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, it's foggy. Like, my mind is completely nubilized. Like, I can't think straight no more. Is it possible that fog is actually a spirit and it's actually clouding their minds with its fog, and in a certain sense, it's making Katara and Sokka see what is necessary for them to remain in the spirit world and stop fighting to want to run away from the fog, or in general from the spirit world. What Katara is going through is a nice example. Trapping Katara in her most vulnerable state is the perfect way to keep her steady. He's clouding her mind with visions of people that mean the world to her. He's keeping her in her memories that still traumatize her, in order for her to actually allow herself to become weak, to believe in what is actually happening, and she doesn't even try to fight the fog anymore while it's sucking the life out of her. Her resisting and her saying, nah, this is not really happening. Everything that's going on right now is just fake. That's her resisting that spirit's influence. If she's actually going with it and allowing the fog to show her all of this illusion, and she is actually going with it, she's not trying to fight the spirit anymore, it's easier for the spirit to suck the life out of her. And that is the same thing that could be happening to Sokka. We have been seeing that fog suddenly appear the entire time that they were in the spirit world. The fog wasn't there the entire time. An example for that would be the footprints that we saw. There were footprints on the ground, And Sokka was like, hey, look, like I have the feeling someone is watching us. Someone is walking towards us, but I can't see anything. And then when Katara and Aang looked around, there was fog suddenly. It could be possible that the fog is a spirit. And the fog recognized that Katara and Sokka have nothing to do in the spirit world. He recognized them as easy bait, and he saw that he could weaken them psychologically that much that he can suck the life out of them, so it would become stronger. As in, technically, that's him eating. Oh, no. That would actually make sense in a certain sense, what that owl said. They will realize that the spirit world is not for them, because they don't really have a foot in the spirit world like Aang does. So the spirits technically leave him be, because Katara and Sokka are the only ones suddenly seeing those visions. Aang doesn't. So that means that his mind is psychologically, technically resistant to the attacks of the people in the spirit world. It's literally like when he's in the spirit world, it's just like him being in the physical world. There is not really a difference inside of him. Like, he's fine. This isn't just like, for example, you're outside breathing in fresh air and then you suddenly run into a burning building and that fire is technically making it difficult for you to breathe and you become weaker and weaker the longer you stay in there. Aang doesn't have that problem. He's fine. Whether he is in the physical world or in the spirit world, it doesn't matter. But that example that I brought with the oxygen, that's technically what's happening to Katara and Sokka. It's like the fog is like a burning fire in a very small space, and it's keeping them there until they die.
I'm the waterbender.
Because she tried to help, the mother had to take the fall.
Fear, so much despair.
Not Ko! Not Ko!
More like Mud World.
Yo, that was creepy.
It smells like pop after a rainstorm.
If it weren't for you, Sokka would have wrecked us. We're lucky to be alive.
It was a tricky run. Even I only saw the breakers at the last second.
You don't have to make excuses for him. I'd hoped when he really had to prove himself that he'd do better. Everyone is meant to have people's lives in their hands.
That's why he's trying so hard to prove that he can be his father. Because his father was his role model. He heard him saying that he can't do shit. So now he's trying so hard because he wants to prove that he can be good.
There's somewhere in the fog.
That is the fog of lost souls. A place that imprisons people in their darkest memories. And it is the hunting ground for Ko, the face stealer. He preys on those paralyzed by despair and doubt. You couldn't have done anything if you'd stayed with us. You couldn't have stopped the Fire Nation. You would have just died, along with everyone else. It's not your fault.
Alright, it seems that in that particular circumstances, my thoughts were wrong. It was actually Gyatso being there, and that's interesting. Like, in a lot of fantasy shows, they're like, yeah, he needs to go to the light in order to find peace. If they don't, in a certain sense, they are like stuck in the spirit world or in the land of ghosts, and they watch over humans in a certain sense until they decide that it's their time to go. Like, they can still leave, but if they want to still wander around and watch over their loved ones, they can do that. It seems that Gyatso decided to remain there because he knew that Aang would need him. And what I loved the most about this in general was, like, the closest thing this man had to love was Gyatso. He was, in a certain sense, not only his mentor, but in a certain sense, he was also his father. So, like, the closest thing to family was him until he found Katara and Sokka. So the thing here is, he just explained that Ko feeds on despair, and doubt, which first of all, pain. Because I already explained that with Katara back then when we saw her memories. He's trying to keep them in their most darkest memories in order to psychologically weaken them that easily that he's capable to overpower their spirit. What do I mean with spirit? When you get confronted with the very thing that made you become, in a certain sense, that made you become depressed, that caused you the biggest pain in your life. Like, I don't know, you being cheated on, you almost escaping death, like you being traumatized because you got kidnapped, or you being traumatized because you had a deadly disease and you saw people leaving you because they couldn't stand the sight of you anymore, because maybe they thought you aren't worthy of staying for anymore. Like, that powerful pain that you technically weren't capable to shake off, Ko is keeping you in the moment of true despair. Like, he's picking specific moments of memory. Like the moment where you truly felt pain. Like, there are a lot of horrible things that can happen in your life, and they all can cause you individually pain. But there's just one thing that hurts you that much that it can literally break down your willpower. For me, I've been through very horrible things in my life, but I would say one of the most horrible things was my best friend abandoning me in my time of need, or me being diagnosed with cancer. Those would be like the most horrible moments in my life. Of course, I already moved past it, but there are things that you can't really move past on. And if you actually have been hurt that much psychologically because of a specific problem, you will always feel something about that topic. So, if you actually get trapped in your most horrible moments, even if you actually were capable to move on and to accept what has happened, you actually being confronted with it again will bring back a wave of negativity. It always will bring back a wave of negativity because you know how much you hurt because of that specific problem. So you actually being trapped in your most horrible nightmare brings you so much pain, so much despair, so much torment. And the more you stay in that nightmare, the more someone keeps you in your most vulnerable state, the more your willpower, your resistance starts to crack. I'm gonna use that metaphor that Aang used. He was like, it kind of feels like ice getting cracks. And that's technically what's happening there with your willpower. The longer you stay in that nightmare, that has caused you so much psychological pain that you actually could get depression from that, because that was such a powerful wave of emotion. So much negativity at once that you actually broke down. It actually made you crumble. The longer you stay in there, the more your willpower, the ice, starts to get cracks. And the more cracks it gets, the easier it is for someone to actually overpower you. They can overpower you. They can say the precise things that hurt you the most, or let you see what hurts you the most. And when you're at your most vulnerable, they go ahead and they take you. That's what happened with Katara, and that's what happened with Sokka. Apparently, Gyatso really is here. He's not an illusion from Ko in order to get Aang. This is actually real. So what I love the most about this is we have seen Aang ever since episode 1, how much guilt he has been feeling because of the fact that he wasn't there for his friends, the fact that he can't be an avatar because he has no idea what he's doing, the fact that people keep on getting hurt because he literally doesn't know what to do with himself, because he's still grieving, because he's still hanging on to the past. All that trouble, all that worry that was inside of this man first came because he wasn't there for the air nomads. So Gyatso, literally being the person he loved the most, looking at him and saying, you couldn't have done anything. What happened to us was not your fault. That's like Gyatso trying to take the guilt away from Aang, because he did just say that Ko is someone that wants to keep you in a moment of doubt. As in, doubting whether this is real or not, and then slowly keeping you in your most vulnerable state. Guilt. That's what attracts Ko. And that's what's capable to make Ko get you and take you as his food. So Gyatso literally right here is trying to get Aang not to feel guilty about what happened to the air nomads. Because if he doesn't feel guilty, it won't be easy for Ko to get to him. I love...
Can we talk about it when I get back?
Of course.
He won't be there.
Once I save my friends, lots more time.
He won't be there no more, though. You could see it in his expression.
Sometimes it feels like we'll always be alone, and the only thing keeping us company is our own pain.
Wow.
We tell ourselves we are the problem, especially when things we can't control come our way. That's why we must let go of our pain and regret. And remember what it is we're really fighting for. The
Let go of the pain.
Love.
Let it
Let that
fuel
be the
you
light
and let
that
it turn you
guides
into a
through the most
positive
treacherous of
person.
times.
That actually hurt me physically. I actually said so many things about what Gyatso literally said. I said that so many times. I said it in the last episode as well. Once about Zuko and Aang, and about Katara not being capable to waterbend because of the fear and the regret she felt for her mother. Now actually seeing this, it could actually make even more sense because of the fact that she tried to save her mother and use waterbending was the reason that she actually had to take the fault. Wow. But yeah, I love the fact that they are actually putting it in there. The only thing that sometimes can accompany you is your own pain, your own regret, your guilt. When the people that actually caused that inside of you left, you will still be left with the damage that they caused you. And I love that they're actually tackling it here. Yes, because this is actually what every single human being has to go through once in their lives at least. This show is actually very good, and I actually read that there are people that are hating on it. Why? What are you hating on? I don't see the hate at all. I am thriving through this show. But anyway, like, sometimes we don't need to understand everything everyone does. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.